If all of the artists in Allantia lived in a single district, what would that district look like? Keeping in mind, of course, that Allantia is run by a dystopian, spooky, kind of authoritarian government, so the art couldn't get too out of control, I suppose. And I've really been looking forward to building this district. I feel like I have a few ideas that I've never seen any other Cities Skylines player implement, and I'm pretty excited about that. As I often do, I'm going to take some time right off the top to build the public transit system. The arterial transit lines are pretty solid, but given that I'm not using buses in my city, I just need something else running through this neighborhood for the happiness and convenience of my residents. The first distinct feature that I'm adding to this neighborhood is a park. Well, it's not even really a park, it's just a giant art installation called the Oblique. And I have a pretty specific idea of what kind of shapes I want in this park, and how to achieve them both horizontally and vertically, so to speak. These walls will hide or reveal different aspects of the flora that lives within them based on the, kind of angle that you're viewing it from. For the sake of brevity, however, I've just cranked it up to ludicrous speed. You get the idea, and the trees appear out of nowhere. Anyway, I think the end result is really great. Pretty happy with it. Over the course of making these Allantia episodes and watching them back, I've determined that the best course of action is to concentrate on one thing at a time, such as, for instance, zoning. Only zoning and not switching to anything else, otherwise it gets difficult to watch, or more difficult to watch than it already is. That being said, this overloaded intersection was living rent-free in my brain while I was trying to do other things, and I try to step away from it to finish the zoning and road layout, but alas, I'm going to flip back and forth between that and some really nitpicky traffic management. A failure to compartmentalize. The second very distinct feature of this neighborhood is its brightly colored roads. In the course of casual conversation, many artists that I've worked with independently of each other have noted how depressing and oppressive standard concrete or asphalt roads are. They're just so dystopian in a lot of ways, and I totally agree. As a fine arts graduate myself, my dear sainted mother would agree as well, I suspect. In fact, one of my earliest memories when I was maybe 4 years old was sitting in the passenger seat of my mother's car driving through our neighborhood, and she said, "Don't you just want to fill some balloons with paint and throw them on the road, just to get a little color out here?" And I was 4, so I didn't really have an opinion on that specific thing. It wasn't really something that had come up yet, but that's always stuck with me. My mom does not consume YouTube content as far as I'm aware, and so she'll probably never see this, but I think that she would really enjoy this neighborhood. I certainly do. Now, I am clearly a novice with procedural objects. It's clearly a very powerful tool, but I've never used it until just now. So rather than force you to sit through me struggling with procedural objects and doing a bunch of other little detail work for 6 or 8 hours, however long it took me, we're just gonna skip straight to the really cool flyby panning shots. Like I said, I'm really happy with how this neighborhood turned out. It's got a lot of a very specific element, which I believe is known as the funk. It makes me nostalgic for Portland, Oregon, where I used to live. Intersections in some Portland neighborhoods are covered in really bright art, and the residents of those neighborhoods are really proud of them in a way people don't get proud of things that are built in corporate interests, you know? And I miss them very much. Thanks for hanging with me, and I'll see you soon.